Chapter 25, A Vicious Circle. Miggery called the man who purchased her uncle as he said she must, and also, as he said she must, Mig tended uncle's sheep and cooked uncle's food and scrubbed uncle's kettle. She did all of this without a word of thanks or praise from the man himself. Another unfortunate fact of life with Uncle was that he very much liked giving Meg what he referred to as a good clout to the ear. In fairness to Uncle, it must be reported that he did always inquire whether or not Meg was interested in receiving the clout. Their daily exchanges went something like this. Uncle: I thought I told you to clean the kettle. Meg: I cleaned it, Uncle. I cleaned it good. Uncle: Ah, it's filthy. You'll have to be punished, won't ye? Meg: Gore, Uncle, I cleaned the kettle. Uncle: Are you saying that I'm a liar, girl? Meg: No, Uncle. Uncle: Do you want a good clout to the ear then? Meg: No, thank you, Uncle, I don't. Alas, Uncle seemed to be as entirely unconcerned with what Meg wanted as her mother and father had been. The discussed clout to the ear was always delivered, and I'm afraid with a great deal of enthusiasm on Uncle's part, and received with absolutely no enthusiasm at all on the part of Meg. These clouts were alarmingly frequent, and Uncle was scrupulously fair in paying attention to both the right and left side of Miggery So it was that after a time, the young Meg's ears came to resemble not so much ears as pieces of cauliflower stuck to either side of her head. And they became about as useful to her as pieces of cauliflower. That is to say, that they all but ceased their functioning as ears. Words for Meg lost their sharp edges, and then they lost their edges altogether and became blurry, blankety things that she had a great deal of trouble making any sense out of at all. The less Meg heard, the less she understood. The less she understood, the more things she did wrong. And the more things she did wrong, the more clouts to the ear she received, and the less she heard. This is what is known as a vicious cycle, and Miggery So was right in the center of it, which is not, reader, where anybody would want to be. But then, as you know, what Miggery So wanted had never been of much concern to anyone. So to summarize this chapter, we have a new character. She's a girl. Her name is Miggery So. She was sold to a man that she calls Uncle. And Uncle doesn't really treat her well. Meg does all the chores for him. And Meg slowly stopped listening to the words that Uncle says. So that's why her ears have turned into cauliflower. Not literally, just they have turned to cauliflower because she doesn't really hear the words anymore. And that concludes chapter 25.